And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived. You know, and one of the criticisms, a fairly common criticism of these biblical stories is, well, if Cain and Abel were the only two people and from Adam and Eve, it's like, where did all these other people come from? And doesn't that make the story like simple-minded? It's like, no, that makes the reader simple-minded. You know, I mean, really, that's the best criticism of this you're going to come up with? I mean, you might say, you missed the point. That would be the right response. You missed the point. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and he builded the city. And so it's Cain that builds the cities and starts the civilization, and that's pretty rough too, right? So it's the first fratricidal murderer who builds the cities after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad, etc., going through the generations. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other Zillah. So this is an attempt to flesh out the genealogy and to describe how culture started in some sense in these tribal communities. And Ada bare Jabal, and he was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal, and he was the father of all such handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And Tubal-Cain, traditionally, is the first person who makes weapons of war. And Lamech, back to Lamech, a descendant of Cain, said unto his wives Ada and Zillah, Hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech. For I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain be avenged 7-fold, truly Lamech 70 and 7-fold. Well, what I see in that is this proclivity of this murderous capacity of Cain as it manifests itself as society develops to a murderous intent that transcends the mere killing of a brother. You hurt me, I hurt you back. It's no. You hurt me, I kill you and 6 other people. And the thing that happens after that is to not make it 7 people, but to make it 70 people. And so there's this idea that once that first murderous seed is sown, it has this proclivity to manifest itself exponentially. And that's a warning, and that's also why I think Tubal-Cain, who's one of Cain's descendants, was the first person who made weapons of war. And that's pretty much the story of Cain and Abel. And it's a hell of a story, as far as I can tell. And I think it's worth thinking about pretty much forever, because there's so many, it has so many facets, you know. And I think the most usefully revealing of those facets is the potential for the story, once understood, to shed light on not your own failure, not even on your rejection by being, let's say, but on the proclivity to murder the best and the best in you for revenge upon that violation. Because what that means, and we know that knowledge of good and evil entered the world, so to speak, with Adam and Eve's transgression, is that now not only does humanity have to contend with tragedy and suffering, and even the unharvested fruits of proper sacrifice, but with the introduction of real malevolence into the world. So there's the fall into history, and then there's the discovery of sacrifice as a medication for the fall. And then there's a counterposition, which is the emergence of malevolence as the enemy of proper sacrifice. And that's where we're left at the end of Cain and Abel. And that's the end of that lecture. Thank you.